Hey, hey! How are you? Day 25 with these. Yes, sirree. Actually coming along pretty good. I fell off that doggone ladder, did a nice little 8, 9 foot dive and used my right foot as a shock absorber. Yeah, I heard that big old crack. I swear to God, I was expecting to see a bone sticking out, a compound fracture, because it was like a piece of kindling as you break campfire. And thank God it wasn't that. And anyways, but here's the cool thing is on Tuesday, so day 21, uh, I yeah, I went in for reevaluation, that sort of stuff. The orthopedic guy who did the original sort of evaluation and was going back and forth surgery or not, so I turned him off and said, nope, I'm going to do it my way. That's the way things. So guy, what was his name? Dr. I don't know, young lad, very meek, probably a guy in residence, but he's like, okay, so Dr. Steves was seeing you, and I'm looking at this, and all this sort of, oh, look, it was off by that much. I would have thought that they would have thought about, putting it back together, on its own. I said, no, that's not the thing. That was my call, not his call. He says, yeah, but he goes, Romario, you're coming along really, really good. And so I had to ask him, so what does really, really good mean? Okay, that sort of thing. So the bottom line is he says, well, look at this. And we blew up the x-ray and the new x-ray, and they put me under a stress x-ray to try and separate the bones. But he goes, boy, look at, this thing is already starting to calcify through the callus. And that's just really good. And he looks at me sideways, and I say, this kid couldn't have been 30. And he looks at me and he's like, we just normally don't see that. Like in someone like you, whatever that means, someone like me. Anyways, what he was referring to in the end when I drilled down a little bit more is that this was something I see in a lot of like teenagers and that sort of thing, how fast the bone starts to mend and start, putting itself back together. So anyways, yeah, okay, good. But I tell you what, that's not the biggest problem. The biggest problem is all the soft tissue damage that I did. It is remarkably still, maybe 20% bigger, my right foot than my left foot, and, circulation, just keep it lower if it's not elevated, and then it just turns purple. So just a lot of ligament damage. That'll take, a healthy 6 weeks to do. I don't think I'm going to be doing much running until maybe August, maybe July, but August. But the good news is I'm fortunate. I'm putting it under stress. I'm weight bearing on it, doing a whole lot of things. One of the things I oftentimes recommend to people is the more stress within your pain tolerance that you can deal on that, the quicker bones will decide that they want to, get stronger, get back together. So that's a good thing. That's stuff. So that's Coach Richard's, health tip of the day and catch up on this fine Friday. Mosquitoes all over the place here, so I'm back here. Anyways, but here's the thing. Look, if you've been on the internet or anything these days, you're just seeing a whole bunch of just fakery out there. Just fakery. You need to join this thing. You need to get in this program. Just send me $97 and I'll set up, a funnel program for you. I'll show you this. I'll show you that. I'll put all these things. Just send me checks. Get out your credit card, do all these sorts of things, because only I can show you how to be successful, which is so much garbage, it isn't funny. And I know you see it, and you see it over and over and over again. And one of the big tips that they keep talking to people about, and it's the word of the day these days, is grit. You got to have grit. You got to decide that you're just tough, and you're going to weather this, and you're just going to get through this, and you're just get grit, And grit is really important. Don't get me wrong. It's a really important component of success, but grit is sort of like the glue that puts together and helps the skills hang together. I was thinking about that the other day. Long time ago, ran into a guy by the name of Rick Trujillo. He was a Zuni Indian out of New Mexico. And I was at the base of Pikes Peak at Manitou Springs at 8,000 feet. And we're going to go to the top of this mountain at 14,200 feet. Pikes Peak, right up a trail called Bars Trail. Look it up if you want to know more about it. Just look it up. Anyways, this guy was just an animal. I mean, holy smokes. Well, come to find out, of course, he's training in the mountains and he's doing a lot of things, and and I'm coming off the flatlands in Nebraska. The big, the big joke in Nebraska is the poster that's out there. It's called Ski Nebraska, guy on two sticks, in the middle of a cornfield. So I'm coming out in Nebraska, at real low elevation. I'm going run up to 14,200 feet. But that's where grit came in, because I still had the skills. I was still prepared. Is that all the grit that I had in place was all my years, all my time, all my development of putting together that allowed me to stick reasonably close to him. He was the far superior guy in the mountains. He was trained for it. He was together. He was tough, man. He was tough. But the bottom line is that's where grit comes about. That's where the don't give up comes in, because you're prepared with the skills, with the things that are in place to at least be on the playing field, be in the marketplace of accomplishment, and you dig down to retrieve what you've already developed, not to retrieve something that isn't there, because you will fail and die. Just like the guy say, I'm tough, put me on a weight bench. No, I haven't been really working out, but I'm tough, I got grit, just put me on the weight bench. And say, great, here's 400 pounds, let's go push that, and have epic failure. Or the guys, yeah, I'm tough, but my boxer guys know this. How many guys have walked into a gym and they're like, coming off the streets, I'm tough, nobody can beat me. I've got what it takes. Coach, just, let me get going. Only get dropped by somebody who's, been putting in the time and the skills and the like in order to, do business, take care of business. So grit is really about the things that you're doing when you're not in front of people, when you're not in the place. It's a place where you do reach down to grab hold of the skills and the ability that you have already developed. That is grit. So many people want to bypass that, folks, in all aspects, in business, in my business, and USANA and network marketing, where, yeah, I'm just going to go off and do this just my way. Yeah, well, there's probably some fundamentals that you really need to learn and put in together so that you can start to use the things that to venture into the areas that you don't know. Okay, that's just the very essence of learning, isn't it? Use what you know to find out what you don't know. Yeah, that's the pieces. So what happens if you can, short circuit that a little bit with some instructions, some pieces, some things together, learn what it takes and put together. Just like a private pilot, we all know how to turn a key on an airplane. We all know how to turn a key on a car. That's why we know how to turn the key on an airplane. But after that, all bets are off, isn't it? Until you have the skills and the pieces and things that are in place in order to lift that thing off, circle the airport, and touch down again in a very successful manner. There we go. There we go. Now we start to develop the skills. So when things do get tough up there, which always happens to pilots somewhere down the road, somewhere, is that ability to draw on what's here. Not to give up, not to panic, not to say, oh my God, this flying thing's not for me. When you're 5,000 feet above the ground, probably is not a good time to bail, right? That's the thing. That's where the grit comes from. So I come back to that and I say grit, such an important component, but grit is actually the component that is used to draw on the skills that you've developed through time. Kind of like fixing my ankle. Years and years. If I don't know how to rehabilitate this ankle, with all the athletes I've worked through with the years and wicked nasty injuries, kind of different ways, and if I can't, the old saying, doctor, heal thyself. If I can't heal myself, if I can't speed this up, and we know why this is healing, right? Quicker, guys? I mean, particular with my USANA family, you know why it's healing quicker. And it wasn't just because I took some magic pack the day that this happened. It's the lifestyle that I've lived for years and years and years of an optimal cellular nutrition program. Yeah. And yeah, USANA's not an immunity bubble, is it? If it was, a big bubble would have materialized when I fell off that doggone ladder and I would have landed softly or just bounced away. Nope. It broke and now it's mending. So anyways, grit. It's necessary, it's needed, it's lacking in a whole lot of people these days. Okay, it's lacking. And again, I don't care what skills you have. If you've got the skills but you don't have the grit, you're just out of luck. Sorry, not even luck. That's not luck. That's self-determined failure. But the opposite is true as well. Is that so? Some nice little cute, saying or posting with nice little music behind it. Don't give up. It's all yours. Just go for it, and all that sort of thing without doing the work ahead of time. Pretty much useless. So that's it. That's it from Camp Cameron, day 25. Okay. Don't have much more to say today outside of, if my barber's watching there, Chris, look at this mess. Yep. I do have room in my house for you to come by. Okay. Take care, everybody. Be well. Bye-bye. Where is that?